Imagine the golden sands of ancient Egypt, the mighty Nile winding through its heart, and standing amidst this land of miracles and mystery is Cleopatra. But pause for a moment. What comes into your mind when you think of Cleopatra? Is it the whispered tales of her legendary beauty? The powerful allure that captivated the likes of Julius Caesar and Mark Antony? Or is it the ruler who commanded an entire kingdom, holding the fate of the ancient world in her hands? Today, let's redefine your notion of Cleopatra, not just as a queen, but as a beacon of intelligence, elegance, and womanly grace. Cleopatra VII was born in 69 BCE, in a time vastly different from our own, yet her impact transcends centuries. She hailed from the Ptolemaic dynasty, a Greco-Egyptian family that ruled after the conquest of Alexander the Great. Unlike the male rulers who preceded her, Cleopatra possessed a uniqueness that would make her one of the most iconic women in history. While most know her as the Queen of the Nile, few realize that her charm stemmed as much from her brilliance as from her appearance. Cleopatra was a polyglot who spoke up to 9 languages, a scholar of philosophy, science, and astronomy, and a strategist whose political acumen was unmatched. But what did Cleopatra look like? And how did her beauty and grace manifest in the rich and splendid traditions of ancient Egypt? Forget what you might have seen in films or paintings romanticized through the lens of European artistry. Actual depictions show us something far more fascinating. She carried herself with an elegance that went beyond physical appearance, a beauty that was stylistically tied to the fashion, colors, and cultural symbols of her time. Let's explore her mesmerizing world of beauty. First, imagine the use of kohl eyeliner. It wasn't merely for aesthetics. The striking black lines that accentuated Cleopatra's almond-shaped eyes also had symbolic and practical significance. Rich in minerals like galena, kohl provided both protection from the harsh sunlight and a spiritual shield against the evil eye. Her eyes, shaped and highlighted by this dramatic application, radiated power and intrigue. And then there's the role of jewelry. Cleopatra was a patron and an embodiment of the finest Egyptian craftsmanship, wearing ornate necklaces embedded with lapis lazuli, turquoise, and gold. Every piece of jewelry she wore symbolized power, protection, and her divine association with Egyptian deities. When Cleopatra entered a room adorned with her golden headdresses and serpentine bracelets, it wasn't just about wealth. It was about the aura she exuded as a living goddess. What about her iconic attire? Cleopatra's wardrobe was layered in meaning. She wore linen dresses that symbolized purity, often dyed rich colors using natural pigments. Her colors were not random. Each held cultural and symbolic weight. Deep blue was employed to symbolize the Nile waters and life, while radiant gold signified the sun and eternity. This mastery over her appearance wasn't accidental. Cleopatra meticulously tied her aesthetic choices to her identity as a ruler and divine figure. Let's not forget the perfume, another pivotal element of Cleopatra's presentation. It is said that Cleopatra infused her presence with a fragrance so enchanting that it became part of her identity. She was known to have perfumed not just her body, but also her environment. She commissioned perfumed sails for her royal ship, making her approach on the Nile a sensory experience. Imagine a queen whose charm began with the gentle whispers of jasmine and myrrh carried by the breeze as she arrived. This wasn't vanity. It was strategic. Through fragrance, Cleopatra connected herself to divinity and memory, ensuring she wouldn't just be seen, but also smelled and remembered. But none of this grandeur could outshine Cleopatra's wit and intellect. Her aesthetic presence mattered, but it was her vibrant spirit, her ability to hold her own in political and philosophical discussions that etched her legacy. Cleopatra was a diplomat, a linguist, and a ruler who saw beauty as part of her identity, but never the whole story. She authored texts on medicine and alchemy, emphasizing her intellect just as much as her physical adornments. Her conversations with the Roman elite revealed her mastery in not only presenting herself but also running a kingdom efficiently during some of the most tumultuous times in world history. One of the most unforgettable ways Cleopatra showcased her intellect and luxury combined was during her first encounter with Julius Caesar. Instead of arriving in a traditional procession, Cleopatra smuggled herself into a palace rolled up in a rug. When this lush fabric was unrolled, there emerged not only a queen, but a moment of political genius. This display asserted her individuality, calculated courage, and playful intelligence. It captivated Caesar, not just as a man, but as one who appreciated strategy and risk. Moving on to her alliances with Mark Antony, Cleopatra's dramatization continued to stun her contemporaries. One legendary story recounts Cleopatra hosting Antony by daring to dissolve a rare pearl in a glass of wine vinegar before drinking it, declaring it the costliest dinner in history. This act served both as a testament to her wealth and her flair for creating unforgettable moments. It was a reminder that beauty for Cleopatra was never stationary. It was dynamic, sophisticated, and displayed through her confident command of narrative and theatrics. Let us not diminish Cleopatra to the role of a seductress or a figure shadowed by her relationships with powerful men. Cleopatra was a builder of alliances, whose reign marked a period of relative stability for Egypt. And when Mark Antony and Cleopatra's forces saw their defeat at the Battle of Actium, her legend only grew. Rather than falling as a mere casualty of history, Cleopatra chose her own ending. Her death by an asp, a small yet poetic venomous snake, is debated even today for its full historical accuracy. But what isn't debatable? Her unyielding will to control her destiny even to her last breath, epitomizing grace and dignity. So why does Cleopatra's story resonate with us, thousands of years later? Perhaps because she personifies what it means to embrace and own who you are, turning your flaws, strengths, and circumstances into art. Cleopatra wasn't flawless, but she was fearless. She existed in a paradox, both adored for her outward beauty but remembered for an inner brilliance that left its mark on history itself. Cleopatra reminds us that beauty isn't just skin deep. It's woven into how we carry ourselves, how we speak, and how we turn our limitations into strengths. In Cleopatra, we find a ruler, a scholar, and an artist of her own life. We find someone who understood the power of perception, but refused to be defined solely by it. Her life was a tapestry of culture, politics, and art, etched into history in bold Egyptian hieroglyphs. As we reflect on her era, let's remember Cleopatra not as a caricature of Hollywood's lens, but as a queen who displayed brilliance in every step she took. And above all, let her story inspire us to redefine what it means to be strong, elegant, and unforgettable. This is Cleopatra: beauty, power, intellect, and an eternal legacy.